Scene 1. Chickens running, screaming across the yard. Dust flies up from the dry ground. A group of raucous men ride on to the ranch. "The Philistines are here!" the little neighbor girl cries. "Go back to your home, dear," a middle-aged woman quietly tells her. The men get off their horses and enter the barn. "Get out!" She runs toward them with a pitchfork in her hand, poking it at the thieves. One of the men narrowly avoids getting jabbed. The other grabs the pitchfork from the woman's hands, laughing. "Ha ha 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 ha! Those are my vegetables," she says. The men put heads of lettuce and garlic and onions in their sacks and then leave. For many years, this was a regular occurrence in the land of Judah. The Philistines who lived nearby would plunder their neighbors. The wind blows. The woman stands staring at them as they ride off. They disappear over the horizon. She continues to stand, staring off in their direction. As the wind blows, suddenly she is surprised by a man appearing. He says, "I know you have not had any children, but you are going to have a child that will deliver Israel from these wicked men you have seen today. Now therefore beware, and drink no wine or strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing, for you will conceive and have a son. You shall set him apart for God from the womb. He shall be a Nazirite unto God. Let no razor come on his head. He shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines." She listens in wonder and then turns her head back, looking again on the horizon where the threatening men had just disappeared. Her mouth begins to open to form a word to speak to the man. She turns back to say something to him, but he's gone. She looks this way and that way, and then runs to her husband, who had just returned home. "Manoah!" That was her husband's name. "Manoah, what is it?" I think I just saw an angel." "You saw an angel? Are you sure?" "Maybe it was just a man from around here." "Did you ask him where he was from or what his name was?" "No, but he looked like an angel and he spoke to me." "Well, what did he say?" "He said that we are going to have a son." "This is like our great father Abraham and great mother Sarah. Angels appeared to them and told them they were going to have a son in their old age, just like us." "Did he say anything else?" "He said for me to drink no wine nor strong drink, neither to eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazirite to God from the womb to the day of his death." This is fantastic. We get to be parents of a hero, a deliverer. Manoah looks out over the neighborhood and says loud enough for all the neighbors to hear, "I'm going to have a son, and he's going to be great." Manoah looks up to the sky and prays, "Oh, my Lord, let the man of God you sent to us come again and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born." Manoah looks at his wife with a sigh. "Well, I'd better get back to working the ground." A couple days went by. She was sitting in the field pondering what had happened to them. She turns her head. There he is again. It's you. Oh, I need to get my husband. Oh, wait right there. Don't go away." She ran to Manoah, her skirt flying up. Manny! Manny! What? He's here. Come with me. They go around the barn and up the hill. He sees him in the distance. Are you the man that spoke to my wife? I am. Then what shall we do? Do you have special instructions for us? How we shall raise our child? Just as I said to your wife, she should not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe. And your son should not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. And don't cut his hair, let it grow. This will be to keep him humble, for he will have super strength and do great things. Manoah's wife told him how the angel had disappeared quickly before, and so Manoah told him, don't go away yet. We want to get you something to eat. Manoah was probably thinking how his great ancestor Abraham gave food to the angels that visited him. But this angel said to him, I will not eat of your food, and if you offer an offering, you must offer it to the Lord. Manoah got a smile on his face. Then, at least, tell us your name. The angel shakes his head and says, it is a secret. At evening, Manoah takes a goat and offers it up to the Lord. As the flames grow in the darkening sky, the angel steps closer to the hot flame and jumps around it and over it and through it. With his hands in the air, he looks up. What is he doing, I wonder? I don't know. How can he stand the heat? He must be an angel. Then suddenly he steps directly into the middle of the flame and whoosh, he shoots up through the air as if he's riding on the flame. Manoah and his wife are totally convinced that what they had experienced was from the Lord. They went home that day with high hopes of bringing a man into the world that would do great things. Scene 2. The sky is bright now. Boop, boo, doo, 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 doo. The sun is flickering through the treetops as a man's head begins to come into view. The birds are chirping, kids are playing, and a skinny little guy with long hair is walking along. Do 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 do. One word in big letters slowly comes across the screen. Samson. He continues to walk along cheerfully. Do, 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 do. Children are skipping along beside him. Da 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 da. Na 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 na. He has a big smile on his face. Na 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 na. And the music comes to a close. Samson looks over and sees a Philistine hurting an Israelite. Hey, what are you doing? None of your business. Samson approaches the Philistine. The big, tough Philistine looks at him. What are you gonna do, skinny, long-haired sissy boy? Samson replies, I'm gonna clean your clock for you. The ugly Philistine sneers at him with a half-toothless smile. "Go right ahead." Then Samson grabs him by his shirt, lifts him high in the air, and then body slams him to the ground. He surprisingly and easily beats up the Philistine. The next day, Samson confidently walks into a Philistine town. They looked at him with great hesitancy. "Don't mess with him. That's Samson. But he's just a skinny guy. I think I could break him like a toothpick." "Don't try it. You're joking, right?" "Okay, go ahead and try him." Samson is sitting with his back toward him. The Philistine walks up and takes a poke at him. Samson whips around and lays the Philistine flat on the ground. How'd he do that? Where does he get his strength? Nobody knows. How such a skinny guy can be so strong? Who is stronger than him? Nobody. Samson sees a pretty Philistine lady. "Hi, I'm Samson." "Oh, Samson, I've seen you in action. You're so strong. And you're so pretty. I like you. How would you like to be my wife?" "Sounds good to me." Samson went home to tell his mother and father he was engaged. Do 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 do. Then he went back again to see his fiancée. Do 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 do. On the road back, roar! Roar! The huge cat blocking his way quickly lunged at him. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson, and he grabbed the lion around the neck and jerked it. The beast fell to the ground, dead. Samson continued on to see his fiancée. Then he went back to his mother and father again. Up ahead, he could see the dead lion he had killed laying on the ground. As he got closer, bees made honey inside the carcass of the dead lion. Honey. He chased the bees away and scooped up a big handful of the honey and ate it. He wasn't supposed to touch a dead animal. The Lord still used him, though, but it would catch up with him eventually. He continued on his journey to his parents and then back again to the town where his fiancée lived. Samson had a big party before his wedding. It was a party that lasted 7 days. There were 30 guys that came to it. Samson thought of a good riddle that had to do with the honey in that dead lion. He said, "If you can figure out my riddle before the end of the party, I'll give each of you a new suit. But if you can't, each one of you have to give me a suit." They said, "Okay, Samson, let's hear your riddle." Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. Now, let's see here. Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. They couldn't figure it out. So they went to Samson's wife and told her to find out and tell them, or they would burn her father's house down. She didn't tell Samson about the threat. She just cried and cried to him every day and said, "Can I know the answer to the riddle? Please tell me. Oh, you hate me. Why haven't you told me the riddle?" She did that for 7 days, and on the 7th day, she wore him down, and he told her. And before the sun went down, the men at the party told him, "What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?" Oh, Samson couldn't believe it. How could they know his riddle? He got angry. He went to the next town of the Philistines and slew 30 Philistines and brought their clothes to the ones who found out his riddle. But while Samson was gone, his fiance's father thought Samson was running out on her, and he didn't want her anymore, so he gave her to another man to marry. Everything was going wrong for Samson, and he would have his revenge on the Philistines. Samson, he was strong, and he was fast too. He caught foxes and tied 2 of them together, tail to tail, and then he put fire in between their tails, and he let them go into the fields of the Philistines. He did this with 300 foxes. Well, wouldn't you know, those foxes were scrambling, trying to separate from each other, and they were all over the place. And they set the fields of the Philistines on fire. The cornfields, the vineyards, and the olive trees all burned to the ground. And the Philistines, they said, "Who done this?" "Samson done it." Well, they were afraid of Samson, so they spitefully went to the woman that he loved and her father, and they burnt them with fire instead. Ooh, this really made Samson mad. Ooh, was he mad. Mad, mad, mad. He took after them and whack, whack, whack. He killed them. Then the Philistines, they got mad. And they went up to the men of Judah and told them, "If you don't bind Samson for us and deliver him unto us, we're going to make things really rough for you." 3,000 men of Judah, Samson's own countrymen, came to him and said, "The Philistines said they're going to make it really hard on us if we don't do this. Well, we're not going to kill you, but we want to bind you and give you over to the Philistines. We make a promise to you that we will not kill you, but we will bind you and deliver you to the Philistines." Okay, go ahead. Do it. His fellow Hebrews took 2 big new ropes, and they started wrapping him with them. They wrapped his arms close to his body. They wrapped his legs together. Samson looked like a cocoon. He was wrapped up so much. They carried him to Lehi, a Philistine town. When they got there, the Philistines were, "Yes, we have him. Hey, Samson is bound. They got him all wrapped up. Come see him. He'll get what's coming to him now. Now we have him. He ain't getting away." The word spread, and Philistine men came from all over. They gathered to tease and to taunt Samson. "Now we've got him. Yeah! What are we going to do with him? Let's rip his head off. Let's burn him at the stake. Let's torture him slowly." Samson had been calm up to this point, looking out at them. Then suddenly, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he burst the cords from off him. But he didn't have any kind of weapon with him. But he looked down, and there on the ground was a jawbone of a donkey. It was a couple feet long. He picked it up, and he whipped it through the crowd of men, hacking and slashing as he went. He slew 1,000 of the Philistines. All of this was part of God's plan to bring judgment upon the Philistines for their cruel treatment to his people, the children of Israel. Just as the Lord told his parents that he would, Samson was greatly used by the Lord. However, Samson was not a very spiritual person, and he let his flesh control him. After he defeated the Philistines with the jawbone of the donkey, he complained to God that he would die of thirst. Well, God miraculously had water come out of the jawbone of the donkey, and Samson drank of it, and he revived. Samson was not afraid of anything. He walked right into the Philistine cities. Why, one time he tore off the doors of the gates of a city of the Philistines and carried them out of the city to the top of a hill. God did use him to avenge the Hebrews of their Philistine tormentors. However, Samson did not make wise decisions for his own personal life. He was very superficial and shallow. Instead of seeking for a good, godly woman to marry, he went by looks. He didn't consider what was on the inside of the woman, just the outward beauty. And so he met a woman named Delilah. Hi, I'm Samson. You want to go on a date with me? Okay. They started going together. Samson liked her a lot, but she didn't like him as much as he liked her, but she acted like she did because the Philistines came to her and said, "Entice him and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver." And she said, "Okay." It was mean and dirty what she did. She strung him along. "Oh, Samson, I love you. Samson, you are the greatest. Why don't you come over tonight and we'll have something good to eat? I'll make lamb chops for you." So she got everything ready, and she got herself all gussied up, and she fixed her hair, and she put on a pretty dress and perfume. And when Samson came in, she smiled real big. So they ate a delicious meal, and Samson liked it. And then they sat down, and she rubbed his back for him, and she said, "I would love to be with you the rest of my life, and make supper for you, and wash your clothes for you, and rub your back for you. Samson, you're so great, and you're so strong." "Samson, I was just wondering, what makes you so strong, Samson? What would someone have to do to stop you?" And Samson said, "Oh, if I were bound with 7 green vines, then I'd be too weak to do anything." She told the Philistines what he said, and they waited outside while she wrapped him with 7 green vines. "Oh, Samson, the Philistines are here." He got up and broke the vines off of him. "Oh, Samson, you lied to me. You're making fun of me. Now tell me where your strength lies." "Okay, if you bind me with new ropes that were never used, then shall I be weak and be like any other man." So she got new ropes and bound him up with them and said, "Samson, the Philistines are here to get you." He got up and snapped the ropes like they were a piece of thread. "Oh, you're still making fun of me and lying to me. Tell me why you are strong." "Okay, take this web and weave it into my hair and fasten this heavy beam to it." He fell asleep, and she fastened the beam to his hair. "The Philistines be upon thee, Samson." He woke up and went away with a beam hanging from his hair. "Samson, you've made fun of me these 3 times. How can you say you love me when you have this secret from me? We're supposed to be one with each other. Now tell me where your great strength lies." Every day she talked to him like this until, "Okay, woman, I'll tell you everything." there hath not come a razor upon mine head. For I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. Oh, thank you, Samson, for telling me. Now I know that you love me, and I love you. They sat for a while. Then she motioned, put your head on my lap. He lay his head down. She smiled at him and stroked his hair. In her mind, she thought silently, who would have known to think it is his hair? She sang quietly to him. Go to sleep, my Samson. As he beheld that beautiful face, his eyes got heavy. And finally, his eyes went shut. He was fast asleep. Oh, Samson. 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 When she saw that he was quite asleep, she motioned for the Philistine man that was peeking through the doorway to come in and cut his hair. The Philistines are upon you, Samson. He woke up. Where are they? I'll wipe them up like I did before. Samson threw a punch to the gut of a Philistine, but instead of the Philistine going down, the Philistine smiled at Samson. Oh, she tricked me! The Philistines began to hit Samson and beat him. They poked out his eyes and chained him to a mill to grind. There's Samson, poor Samson, walking around in a circle, chained to the grindstone. His strength was gone from him. His hair had been cut, and he can't see. Day in and day out, he walks in a circle. Can you see him now, going round and round, grinding at the mill? Boom, 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 boom. He reaches up and feels his hair getting longer as the weeks go by. His hair gets longer. Boom, boom, boom. The lords of the Philistines gathered together to offer a great sacrifice unto their god Dagon, and to rejoice, for they said, our God hath delivered Samson our enemy into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. It was a huge building, capable of holding thousands. It was like the Colosseums of Rome. It had huge pillars holding the roof. Thousands of Philistine lords and their wives and their priests of their religion were there to celebrate. The magnificent building was elaborately decorated for the occasion. Ladies wore their finest dresses. Men were decked out in their best apparel. There was food and drink to celebrate. They had hors d'oeuvres, shrimp cocktails, and wine and cheese. At the front of the building, at the platform, was the statue of their idol Dagon, the fish god, with the head of a man and the body of a fish. The high priest rose and spoke. Ladies and gentlemen, you know of the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us, Samson. Boo! Boo! Psst, boo! Boo! The crowd roared. Our god Dagon hath delivered our enemy into our hands. Yay! The crowd exploded with glee, and then the music started. Rock and roll. And the people started to dance, and they drank. About an hour later, one of the lords got up, and he cried, "Stop the music! Go get Samson, that he can entertain us." There was a balcony in the building, and just on that balcony alone were 3,000 men and women. Samson was brought in. His eyes had been poked out, so he wandered across the stage. All the people laughed at him hysterically. They set him right in the middle of the building and made sport of him. Well, Samson, what are you going to do to us now, you skinny guy? Everyone smiled and laughed. You're not so great now, are you? You have a little boy leading you by the hand. Some threw food at him and laughed, watching it splat against him. Glory be to Dagon! A roar went up from the crowd. Hooray! Samson told the little boy, "Put my hands on the pillars." The little boy took his one hand and put it on the pillar. Then he reached for Samson's other hand and pulled it up to the pillar on the other side of him. Samson's hair was grown back now, and Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. Samson pressed his hands firmly against the pillars. Some people saw him and began laughing. Go ahead, Samson. Push. Push the pillars down, Samson. Push, 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 push. Push, 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 push. And then he pushed hard with all his might. The building came down, and the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were therein. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. The dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. The life and story of Samson is finished. finished, ended, the bitter end, the end.